we lose our cultural heritage, then it means eventually we are losing our identity.
Yes.
And it's not nice to be losing your identity too. Thank you very much for these insightful words.
Welcome, Regina.
Your Majesty, there is this thing, oral history. It's one of the media or one of the means through which our culture or our African culture actually moves from one generation to the other. So, as you are a traditional leader yourself and you are the king of the Igbo community in Ghana, what do you think that the traditional rulers can do to sustain our oral history so that our culture can at least move from one generation to the other? Because I know of some African homes that they don't even teach their children their local language. I mean, as the kids are growing up, they start with them in English. So the children grow up without knowing their native language or something. And when that happens, they are going to lose their identity, just as you rightly mentioned. So, as traditional leaders, so with you as an example, since you are the biggest, I mean, with all your adornments and everything. So, as traditional leaders, how can we sustain that? How can we sustain our oral history in order to pass on culture?
Domestic teaching is one of the most important things in one's life. Remember, when a child is given here on earth, from that time the child is giving birth, the mom is there, the father is there, siblings, family, grandmother, grandfather, everybody's around. First month, second month, even before that child even start going to school, maybe that child is about 3 years or 2 years. Now, in our various homes, if we are not teaching our children our language, if we don't speak our language to our children, they will miss that track. So, if maybe my children, all of them are speaking the English to them, my wife is also doing the same thing to them, they cannot understand Igbo, they cannot understand Ghana language. So, if they grow up with that, what time do you think they will learn the language? Is it when they get to 20 or 30 years? So, because of migration, if we don't take time, we'll lose our language. So, I am pleading to every father and every mother to always speak our local language to our people. Our language is our strength and our identity. 2, I also plead with all the government in Africa for them to make it compulsory that every school, from government school to private school, must have our local language as a compulsory course at all levels in our schools. Right? A lot of, even some schools, even some countries in Africa, they have removed history in their curriculum, which is wrong. They've removed languages there. Instead of them to teach their local language, they'll say, French is compulsory, Spanish is compulsory. Yeah, we know. Without English, we cannot communicate and all that. But you don't say Igbo is compulsory. You don't say Yoruba is compulsory. You don't say Ga is compulsory. You don't say Akan or Ashanti or Fanti language compulsory. Government must make it compulsory through the Ministry of Education, so that our children, the little they grab in school and the one they get at home will help them more. The one they get at home, it's by the parents speaking, but the one they get in school will help them to know how to write that language, to read that language, and speak more and add more value to it. Because what you hear, the same English will speak for them at home. You can speak the same language there. So the only way we can preserve it and make sure our children and our generation maintain our language, first of all, must come from our home. Second, government must make it compulsory that our languages must be compulsory.
Thank you very much, Your Royal Majesty.